Hello YouTube, it is Atticus and welcome back from popular demand, my friends. We have High Elf Week continued. Yeah, I know it's been like High Elf month, but yeah guys, we're gonna go ahead and finish it up. Had a few people wanting to see some more High Elf games, so yeah, so this one's a really cool one against Empire. We've done Dwarf and we've done Skaven so far, so yeah, let's keep on the theme of artillery ranged factions and showing you kind of some builds that can beat them. So for my Lord, guys, we are taking Illyrio the Radiant. I'm putting her up on an Eagle. For the spell choices, I do take pretty much everything that she has, minus one thing. So I have the Star of Avalorn. I do take the Staff of Avalorn. And for my spells, I take Arcane and Unforgiving, Earthblood, and Banishment. So I wanted to have a little armor-piercing spell, something that could deal with, like, globs of great swords, or even, demigriffs and things like that. Something that could do a little bit of damage. And yeah, up on that Eagle, she's going to be a pretty good duelist, so she'll be able to fight any air lords of the Empire with the support of a dragon, so I do like that. Also, for my secondary Lord, guys, we just have a Noble up on the horse right here. This is such a cheap must-bring against the Empire. His job is pretty much just going to be countering Empire Knights, Demigriffs, things like that. And you strip him down, you just take him, just the basic unit of him. It's underneath 1,000 gold, so it's such a good deal. You can see, you guys, I do have one unit of silver helms here in the shields. These guys are one silver helm shielded in the forest right here. These guys are hopefully going to be able to get into that back line and shut down missile lines. For my infantry contingent, we just have a bunch of spearmen, guys, but I do have one armor-piercing unit, white lions, but they're hidden here in the tree. So the idea is that I could get these guys in close and be able to do some damage, and they won't get pounded by his artillery crews or his range crews, because these guys have silver shields, and they'll be able to, hold for quite a while. I also do have a Sun Dragon, so I'm going to be trying to take advantage of the breath attacks. I'm trying to do some terror routing. Also, you can see that I have two units of Illyrian Reavers right here, archers. So these guys are hopefully going to be able to deal with flagellants and handgunners. You don't really see them a lot in this matchup, but it's going to give me a lot of mobility to come in around here, harass his low-armored units. And you can see I also have the Storm Riders, guys. So I'm keeping in that whole idea of having a lot of range units that can protect themselves. Either they can run away or they're anti-large like these guys. And these guys are really cool because, yeah, they're a really good counter to Empire Knights and things like that, just because they can protect themselves, they can brace for the charge. And here in the back, Sneaky Vanguard, I always bring one Illyrian Reavers. These are just the normal ones. These guys are perfect for shutting down artillery, and you can see my opponent has made the same mistake. He probably looks on his map, he doesn't see anything, no, Vanguard shenanigans, and boom, he left his Hammer of the Witches wide open. So that is my build, guys. The idea is going to be to rush into here, protect the White Lions. We're going to be harassing him with a bunch of archers on each side. Meanwhile, hitting his back artillery piece. We're going to be using Illyrio and the Sun Dragon, hopefully to catch out Boris. And yeah, we're just going to try to pick him apart that way. So for my opponent right here, Booster, we do have Boris Todbringer, who is a pretty good pick, obviously. He does have the healing. It looks like he did bring him fully kitted out too. So he has the Midland Runefang, the Crush the Weak, which will give him that -9 stat-wise, which is really good. Yeah, -9 melee attack right here, and another -5 melee attack right there. So yeah, that's really powerful. Boris is no joke. He's like a mini Marathi. For my opponent's front line, he does have a mixture. He does have a Bright Wizard, I forgot to mention, for his secondary loadout. Just damage spells, Burning Head and the Flaming Vortex. For his infantry contingent, he does have the Tattered Soul, so these guys are going to be holding for days. He does have the Sigmar Sun, so he has a front line right here that's going to be holding. But hey, that's fine for me, because all I brought is Spearmen. So yeah, if you want, I brought 500, and you spent a lot more, so I actually kind of win in that engagement. A couple units of handgunners, one of them being the Silver Bullets. Some spearmen, and then he has a secondary line of great swords, so he definitely does have the advantage of having more armor-piercing infantry. But that's what all my range units are going to be trying to focus down and be able to shut down. Hammer of the Witches, as previously mentioned, and he does have the Royal Altdorf Demigriff. So yeah, these guys, I want to really be careful. I don't want to get anything singled out. I don't want to land my dragon or something like that, and because these guys will melt through them pretty quickly. So that is the builds, guys. Let's go ahead and start this out and see how it goes. So right off the bat, as the semester said to me as I got homework. That didn't make sense, but who cares? Alright guys, so we're going to start moving up, advancing right here. I'm going to do the walk command. I'm not going to tire out my troops. I'm going to take advantage of me having all these range units. Try to do a little early damage now before my forces kind of get into position. You can see my Illyrian Reavers are going to come here, and we're going to start trying to shoot these handgunners. We're going to get a little early damage on them. Start trying to chip away at those guys. Over here, my little ambush of Illyrian Reavers and the Storm Riders are going to come around this cliff. They're both hidden right now, so my opponent cannot see them. And meanwhile, you can see that I do get into the Hammer of the Witches, so my opponent was not paying attention, and that is such a huge pick. That's 1,100 points gold that my opponent just wasted. So we're going to be able to shut that down. You can see that the Noble and the Silver Helms are just coming around the back right here, and we're getting some really good damage into these silver bullets, especially once they get over this hill, and they'll be able to see. You can see my opponent does try to get a burning head, but he does it on the Illyrian Reaver archers right here. It's usually a lot better towards infantry, but he does kind of get these spearman units, so he does not too bad. So actually, it wasn't really that bad of a casting of it. You can see my Silver Helms are going to come in here. We're going to try to get into the silver bullets. We've totally shattered the Hammer of the Witches, and yeah, so right now we're looking kind of good. We're collapsing, and we're hitting him from every angle. Over on this side, you can see his demigryphs. We're trying to chase away some of my units. The Illyrian Reavers right here obviously have skirmish, and now my opponent is going to be aware of the White Lions right here. So yeah, he's definitely going to be caught by surprise, because those White Lions with their armor piercing could actually do pretty good against them. And I forgot to mention I do have just one unit of archers right here, just to try to pepper those soft targets. You can see that the Silver Helms right here are going to be able to get a charge, and boom, right into those Tattersouls. And we're going to get a few of them into the silver bullets. And yeah, that's not too bad. We kind of catch them. You can see all my range units now are starting to open up. And things are looking really good for us. You can see I am going to be really patient. The Illyrian Reavers, he was trying to chase me. No sense throwing those guys away, even though they are an expendable unit. You can see the White Lions are going to get into these swordsmen. And here in the forest, my Illyrian Reavers are just shooting into these demigryphs. Now, I am going to cast a Star of Avalorn, trying to keep these Silver Helms alive. You can see he does land Boris, but I'm going to get an Arcane Unforging, so that's going to keep him taking a little bit of damage, keep him from doing any abilities, and yeah, you can see that the Spearman units are going to start to collide. Now, he's going to have these great swords over here, so he's going to be at an advantage, but we are going to be able to break the silver bullets, guys, so we're looking really good for us. You can see I'm going to get a devastating breath attack right onto these handgunners, and meanwhile, the Illyrian Reavers are going to try to get into them, but they are going to get intercepted here by the Royal Outdoor Gryphites. So now you can see that the Sun Dragon and Boris are going to have a duel. My Noble is going to come over here. I'm going to try to use him to fight the Royal Outdoor Gryphites. And the Noble is anti-large. He'll do pretty good. Seeing that my Sun Dragon was in dueling Boris, I am going to try to get Ilario over there to 2 versus 1 him. And you'll see. They'll do pretty good. My opponent does get a Flaming Vortex right here. It looks like it kind of veered off. He was trying to get these Spearmen. But yeah, you can see all this Overwatch, all these range units, the Storm Riders, the Illyrian Reavers, the Archers. It's just really taking a toll on his troops. You can see I did kind of forget about my Silver Helms. They're locked in combat now with these great swords, and that's definitely not where they want to be. Over here, you can see the Noble is fighting amongst the Royal Outdoor Gryphites, and I've used almost all the ammunition on my Illyrian Reavers. So, yeah, you can see he does have this Bright Wizard. Here comes Ilario, but my opponent will... Oh, looks like my opponent does get some kind of fiery spell. That was his bounce spell. It does hit the Sun Dragon, but my opponent is going to pull away, saying that it's a 2 versus 1 fight. You can see we are going to be able to break these swordsmen, which is going to free up my White Lions. They still have their martial mastery since they're above half health, and things are looking really good for us, guys. You can see I'm going to use these Illyrian Reavers, and I'm just going to try to focus this Bright Wizard. I don't want him being able to cast spells on me, so if I could keep him distracted, things will look really good for us, guys. And you can see my Noble now is in really bad shape. He's fighting amongst these Royal Outdoors, but luckily I do have these White Lions. They're going to come in and assist before my Noble does break. You can see my opponent is just running away with Boris, taking advantage of his regeneration, which is smart. You can see that these Illyrian Reavers are, thankfully, though, providing that Overwatch for me as well. And you can see I do get a banishment spell. I did it right on top of these great swords, and it actually did a lot of damage. And you can see we are going to be able to break a lot of his different units and stuff. So, and we still have a lot of ammunition over on this side, so we're going to be able to start focusing down. And you can see this whole game I've just been shooting the Tattersouls. Those guys actually do a surprising amount of damage, so it's always good to kind of get them off the map. You can see that there was no sense just chasing Boris around the map, so I am going to land the Sun Dragon onto these guys right here. I was trying to get a terror route. I didn't realize that these were the unbreakable Sigmar Suns, but, at least they'll be able to help with the front line. Balance of power is really strongly in my favor, guys. You can see that the noble, the White Lions are just dealing with these Royal Altdorf Griffites. My opponent really needs to get those guys out of there. You can see that the Lyrian Reavers have done pretty good damage against the Bright Wizard, and I am going to send Alariel in there, and she's going to get a really juicy charge. And if we're able to break him, that's going to be no more casting for my opponent. Over on this side, you can see that my archers are kind of really out of position right here. They're going to start getting really beat by these great swords, but thankfully the dragon's being able to terror rout those guys. You can see he is trying to chase me, but my little goon squad of archers right here, storm riders and so on, those run for days. They have skirmish, they can fire while moving, and you can see, guys, we do break the Royal Altdorf Griffites, the Demigriffs. So yeah, that is a really good pick for us. You can see I'm going to escort them off the map with the noble, and yeah, now guys, we're just kind of just starting to put the final nail in the coffin for my opponent. He does have a couple units of really great swords and things like that, but they don't have a missile chance. So they're going to be taking a lot of damage. You can see I do get another Star of Elverlarn. Can't talk on Boris right here, trying to keep him alive. And you can see Alariel is going to get into a duel. Now, one-on-one, she's not going to do that well, but we have the support of the Lyrian Reavers right here, so that's, if anything, it's just going to kind of mess up the AI. You can see the Sun Dragon is doing a really good job of just kind of grouping all these guys up. I'm feeling pretty confident at this point, especially with all the healing, so I'm just kind of leaving him in the battle. And you can see I do have a lot of reinforcements over on this side, but it is going to be just army losses and a win for the High Elves, guys. And you can see we have gotten Boris off the map. We're using the Lyrian Reavers to keep him from getting up in the air. We're just harassing the back line at the Lyrian Reavers once the ammunition has been used. Same with the Silver Helms. And now it's just the Tattersouls and the Sigmar Sons that remain. And I think my opponent will GG here in a second. We'll just go ahead and fast forward it. And yeah, that's going to be a win for the High Elves. So let's go ahead and look at the in-screen breakdown and talk about some of the keys for my success. And, one of the big things that comes to mind, guys, was all the archery units, the mobile archery units. The two Lyrian Reavers, the Storm Riders actually did really good. I feel like they're really powerful in this matchup. I mean, we were hitting him from every side, and it was one of those situations where what does he do? Does he chase me, or does he, ignore the damage? He's never going to be able to catch me, but he can't, if he ignores the damage, he's going to, just get destroyed as well, because all his units right here, none of them really have missile resist chance besides these spearmen and swordsmen, which aren't the focus of my target. The Silver Helms were able to get a really good charge into the silver bullets. You can see they didn't even get any kills. So, and obviously having the Lyrian Reavers shut down the Hunter Hammer of the Witches was a really good pick for us as well. More of the story, guys, is even if you look on the map and you don't see any Vanguard, expected there might be in the trees, so never leave your artillery priests undefended. As for Alariel, she's one of the best lords for the High Elves. Healing for days. Noble did his job of countering the Royal Altdorf Griffites, and yeah, I was just really pleased with the strategy and the way my army performed. So, alright guys, it's Atticus. I hope you enjoyed that one. We're back to High Elf Week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye now.